Hello dear students, I Dr. Suruchi Upadhyay, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, D.A.V. PG College, Siwan, is going to cover up a topic of course 15 Indian English Literature, Section A Poetry. The title of the topic is Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt's year span is 1856 to 1877. When we talk of Toru Dutt, it reminds us of that she is one important pre-independence poetess in Indian English literature. She was born on 4th March 1856 in a Hindu family of Calcutta. She inherited a rich reputation and ancestry. Her father was a linguist and mother was steeped in Hindu myths and culture. At very young age of 6, the family embraced Christianity and they went to England and then to France. In England, the pressure of ancestral place was withdrawn and Toru came back to Calcutta again. From 1873, we find that a unique creative imagination steeped in her mind. She translated French lyrics. The number of French lyrics was 160 and 70 different poets into English. At the very tender age of 19 years, she started learning Sanskrit and reading classics like the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. Often in literature, we can compare Toru Dutt to a poet, Wordsworth, her sensuousness to British poet John Keats. She died at a very young age of 21. When we discuss about the poetry of Toru Dutt, we find that primarily her work can be divided into 5 major poems where a creative output can be assessed. The first poem, The Lotus, that we are going to discuss today. Second, The Savitri. Third, Lakshman, Our Schizorian Tree. And the last one is The Christmas. The Lotus is a Petrarchan sonnet. A sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, and Petrarch is unique in its form. Why? Because it has octave and sestet. The poem has Indian theme and it is a debatable poem. The poem even depicts the love of nature. It is Indian in background because it discusses and talks about the specific national flower of India, that is the lotus. The poem begins with a bone of contention between two flowers, lily and rose, and they had been fighting for the title Queen of Flower. The flower lotus has a significance in our Indian culture and religion. Each flower has its own supportive argument. The god of love came to the goddess Flora asking which flower should be supreme. Some said it should be rose and others said it should be lily because it is very beautiful as goddess Juno's face. Now love wanted to create a unique kind of a flower which has got a sweet smell, and Flora created a new flower lotus which has a color of rose red, which you can see from morning to noon, and lily white from afternoon till dusk. The poem stands for unique mark of symbols as rose stands for passion and lily stands for purity, innocence and simplicity. The structure of the sonnet is divided into 2 parts: octave that outlines the problem and sestet that suggests a solution. While writing this sonnet, what was the observation that Toru wants to pinpoint? Toru wants to establish superiority of our religion over the rest of the religion in the world. She believes firmly that our culture has a semblance of East and West. She too wanted to create a literary output that shows how East and West can be united to create an effective, harmonious life in earth. Why he chose this particular flower, the lotus? Because she believes that the lotus springs from the surface of the water and the existence of lotus is not from the earth. That's why the flower will remain pure forever. This idea of birth of flower lotus suggests supernatural birth. It also confirms that amongst the chaos and confusion that is prevalent in our society, innocence and purity will always regain its calm. Lotus suggests the symbol of East and West. Toru uses the idea of Greek and Roman goddesses, goddess of flora, goddess of flower, goddess of love, Cupid, Roman god of love, to create a West and understanding of Hinduism. Thank you and good luck.